Welcome everyone to Photo101, and in this episode we're going to talk about depth of field. Now, what is depth of field? Well, basically depth of field is what is it in focus and out of focus for your subject. And it's basically how our eyes work. One way you can test that yourself is by holding up your hands to your face, focusing on your fingers, and kind of observing what's behind it and what is out of focus. Then you could focus beyond your fingers and seeing that. That kind of gives the same thing as depth of field. It is basically what is in focus of your shot. Now, why is that such a good idea? Well, what it does is draws your attention to your subject. If you're dealing with a portraiture, you really want shallow depth of field. If you're doing landscape or really street photography, you kind of want a little greater depth of field. So you can have everything else in focus. So that's what depth of field is, basically what is in focus and out of focus from the foreground to the background into your subject. Now if you are looking for the shallow depth of field, which in my opinion looks beautiful, and getting that bokeh, how do you achieve that? Well, there's three factors that determine how much depth of field you have. Now what are those three contributing factors? You have your aperture, your focal length, and the distance from your camera to your subject. If you have all of these three working together, you'll get great depth of field, or shallow depth of field I should say. The first one we're talking about is aperture. Now in the aperture episode when I talked about, if you have a wide open aperture like 1.4, 1.8, 2.8, you're going to get a shallow depth of field. If you think of it kind of like a pinhole, if you have a closed down pinhole and you're looking through it, you see a lot more stuff in focus than if you actually have like your hand open like this. You're seeing more of the image and your eyes are more focusing on one point. You're focusing on one point, which makes everything else out of focus. And then if you're dealing with a pinhole, you're kind of already focusing on that one point and you're more so getting in focus. That's the thing with aperture, so that's the easy thing to figure out. Now with focal length, it's depending on the focal length of your lens. So if you'll get a shallower depth of field if you're dealing with a 200 millimeter than you're dealing with a 24 millimeter lens. In that case, aperture doesn't play that much of a part of it, but it does help. Again, with focal length, if you want the shallow depth of field, just get like a 70 to 200, 24 to 70, racked out to 70, and you'll get more depth, shallower depth of field, the longer your focal length. So if you want the super sharp image with a very blurred out background, you would want to invest into a 70 to 200 or a 200 millimeter 2.8 lens. And the third factor is distance from your camera to your subject. So that saying is, if you are further away from your subject, then the fall off of the depth of field will include the background, so it'll be more in focus. So if you want to get that great depth of field, get your framing where you want it, racked out to 200, and get as close as you can to your subject. That'll make sure your subject is in tack sharp, and the fall off on it is greater, so more stuff in the background will be out of focus. Now I'm going to give you some recommendations on some great portrait lenses. I think these will actually, if you're looking to do portraiture, these are great lenses to have. The first one is the 24 to 70. That is my all-time favorite lens. I think that's a very versatile lens. You can do so much with that. You can get wide-angle shots, but you can also get very good close-ups. And I think it just has a great focal length for anything. So that's my first place I'll start. Then if you want to do more portraiture, the next one I would recommend is the 85. Like the 85 1.8. The 1.2 is more expensive, but the 1.8 will get you what you need. And I think that's even greater. It gets enough compression on the face so the face looks beautiful. And you have a nice longer lens than the 24 to 70. And if you really want to do something, get the 70 to 200 millimeter 2.8. That'll give you great focal length and it's a fast lens, and it's a beautiful lens and it's a sharp lens too. So that'll be the three lenses I recommend if you're getting into portraiture photography. I hope this has helped you understand how you can get shallow or greater depth of field depending on your aperture, focal length, and the distance from the camera to the subject. So I hope this has helped you out explaining depth of field for you. And if you have any questions at all, please comment down below. I'll answer them either in the comments or I'll answer them in the new video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram page where I post everything there. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.